Once upon a time, in a bright green forest, there lived a curious little squirrel named Squeaky. Unlike the other squirrels who were always busy gathering nuts, Squeaky spent his days looking for adventures. But one day he discovered something even more exciting than an adventure, something magical. It happened on a bright and sunny morning when Squeaky was scampering through the trees. He was looking for adventure as usual, but all he found were some boring old branches. "Oh, how I wish something exciting would happen," he sighed. Just then, Squeaky noticed something strange. There was a treehouse up ahead in the tallest oak tree in the forest, and it wasn't there yesterday. It was built high up with a rope ladder hanging down from one of the branches. The treehouse looked cozy and inviting, and curiosity got the better of Squeaky. He couldn't resist the urge to climb up the rope ladder and see what was inside. But when he reached the top of the ladder, he hesitated. The treehouse seemed so mysterious, and Squeaky was a bit nervous about what he might find inside. He took a deep breath, trying to calm his nerves, and then slowly opened the door. To his surprise, the inside of the treehouse was not what he expected at all. Instead of being empty or occupied by a grumpy hermit, it was filled with fluffy clouds that smelled like sweet cotton candy, and the floor was made of soft, bouncy moss. There were no windows or furniture, just a small, glowing button in the middle of the room. Squeaky cautiously approached the button and stared at it for a moment. "I wonder what this does," he chirped. Just then, the button began to glow brighter and brighter until it was almost too much for Squeaky to look at. Startled, he quickly turned away, and when he looked back, the button was no longer there. In its place was a rope cart. "Wow!" Squeaky whispered, his eyes wide with amazement. He carefully got into the cart and pulled on a nearby rope, and to his surprise, it started to move. The cart glided smoothly across the room and stopped at the spot where the button had been just moments before. Squeaky realized that the button must have somehow transformed into the cart. But how? And what else could this magical treehouse do? Eager to find out, he continued to explore. As he looked around, Squeaky noticed a small hole in the wall that hadn't been there before. It was just big enough for a small squirrel to fit through. Curiosity overcame him, and he squeezed his way through the hole. On the other side, he found a narrow tunnel that led deeper into the treehouse. At the end of the tunnel, Squeaky saw a faint light shining through a crack in the wall. He pushed his way through the crack and found himself in a small room. In the center of the room was a large crystal ball that was glowing with a soft, warm light. "What a beautiful sight," Squeaky whispered, mesmerized by the ball's radiance. As he approached the crystal ball, he noticed a faint shimmer in its depths. At first, he thought it was just a trick of the light, but then he realized it was a reflection of the room itself. But it wasn't just any reflection. The crystal ball was showing him a different version of the room, one that was filled with all sorts of magical creatures. There were unicorns with shimmering horns, playful fairies with gossamer wings, and even a wise old wizard with a long white beard. Squeaky watched in awe as the creatures frolicked and played in the magical realm reflected in the crystal ball. He had never seen anything like it before. Suddenly, the crystal ball began to shake and the images inside started to swirl around. Squeaky took a step back, startled by the sudden movement. Then he noticed a small crack in the ball, and as he watched, the crack grew larger and larger until it was a gaping hole. The magical creatures inside the ball seemed to sense the danger, and they began to scream and wave their arms frantically. Before Squeaky could react, he felt a strong force pulling him towards the hole. With a final surge, the creatures disappeared from view and the hole vanished. The crystal ball was once again a smooth, clear sphere. Squeaky stood there stunned, unsure of what had just happened. Had he just witnessed a portal to another world? Was he now trapped in this magical treehouse? He didn't know what to do. Then suddenly, he heard a loud creaking sound. He turned around to see the rope cart from earlier coming towards him. With a jolt, it stopped just inches away. Squeaky jumped back, startled by the sudden appearance of the cart. But when he saw that it was empty, his fear turned to curiosity. Could this magical treehouse somehow sense his distress? And if so, was it trying to help him? Hesitantly, Squeaky got into the rope cart. He wasn't sure what would happen next, but he was determined to find out. As soon as he settled into the cart, it started moving again. This time it went down a steep slope, making Squeaky's heart race with excitement. The cart came to a stop at the bottom of the slope, and Squeaky found himself in a brand new part of the treehouse. It was a cozy living room with a fireplace, comfortable chairs, and a table piled high with delicious snacks. There were nuts, berries, and even a loaf of bread sitting on the table. Squeaky couldn't believe his eyes. He had never seen a treehouse like this one before. It was magical, mysterious, and now it was offering him food. Too surprised to do anything else, Squeaky sat down in one of the chairs and took a deep breath. He knew that he had stumbled upon something truly special here, and he couldn't wait to see what other secrets the treehouse held.